Neil Oliver, is Donald Trump right? These loose lips from Biden putting us at threat.
I think he is right about that. Yes, this is such a fragile and volatile time for the whole world. And, it's worth remembering that throughout, the US has been carefully making it clear that there are limits to its involvement and that there are limits for NATO. That NATO and the US have kept clear of a no-fly zone. And it's so much a time of diplomacy, careful diplomacy for the sake of the people of Ukraine. You want the hostilities to come to an end as soon as they possibly can, and that will surely mean negotiation. And anything contrary to that, anything that risks warmongering or increasing the temperature in something that is already dangerously hot, potentially, for the whole world, apart from what's happening explicitly in the theatre of Ukraine. And it is very worrying to watch President Biden, who can say what his state of mind is and how cognitively capable he actually is. But he certainly looks frail, and he certainly looks as if he struggles to keep up with his speeches and what he's, the message that he's trying to get across. And as you say, if it's ad-libbing, it's difficult to tell, isn't it? Because he always looks as if he's looking from screen to screen of an auto cue. But if he is ad-libbing, then it's no time for that kind of off-piste, free-form talking. He's already said carelessly that if Russia used chemical weapons, that America would reply in kind, and that had to be walked back. And then he made his comments about 82nd Airborne. He said to them, when you're there, or words to that effect, you will see. And they had to walk that back, that there were no intentions to put, US soldiers on the ground. And now this thing about saying that, Putin must not be allowed to continue to rule. Many commentators across the piece have been saying that with a man like Putin, you do not back him into a corner, because Russia has got more nuclear weapons than any other state. And it seems to be generally thought that if it becomes existential for him, which is to say, if he thinks either Russia or himself is physically threatened, then he would be likely to take the nuclear option, that he would go there. And so that is not an individual to be provoked, especially if it's happening because an old man, an elderly man at the end of his cognitive strength is just carelessly stepping into a potential minefield.
No, I think you're completely right about that, Neil. The question is, what the heck do we do? I mean, there's a totally incompetent VP, and the idea of Kamala Harris being in charge is equally worrying, if not more, to be completely honest. And we're meant to see leadership from the US. So how do we, and how does Boris Johnson tackle an American president in cognitive decline?
Well, I think it would appear that the White House is, for whatever reason that Mr. Biden is saying the things that he's saying, whether it's mistakes or whether he genuinely means what he's saying, who could say? But the White House and the broader US state seems always to be very quickly walking back and clearing up the mess. And I'd almost be tempted to think that such is the extent to which Joe Biden is perceived on the world stage as, well, cognitively challenged, let's say, and people talk about senility and all the rest of it. There may actually even be an understanding out there and in Russia that what Mr. Biden is saying, that there a certain amount of leeway has to be taken, and the speed with which the White House come in behind him to tidy up the mess, seems to suggest that they're well aware of the problem as well. But yes, the thing has to end with negotiation. Surely enough people, too many people have already suffered and died, and it has to get to negotiation. Wars don't sort out who's right